Yeah.
Okay, hey guys. So today we have Gloria Forrest. She is a faculty. She's a health educator at the Student Health Center. She got her bachelor's and her master's in public health at Cal State Fullerton. So she's an alumni, and she has her certified health education specialist. She's worked in several nonprofits throughout Orange County and was a volunteer coordinator with American Corp. So today she's going to be talking about wellness. Okay.
Should I have John follow me everywhere with that intro? So as he mentioned, I'm Gloria. Or we should have lied to you and say this. Just kidding. So we're gonna do a lot of stuff about student wellness, and then not real, I promise. We don't student wellness, and then not real, I promise. We don't want to drink this. It's just colored water, so it's not the best. Yeah, it's almost Friday. Says the health educator. So, as John mentioned, I'm alumni here twice over. Yeah, you're right. I grew up in Fullerton. I'm very passionate about this community. I'm also first generation as well. So very hard for me to kind of navigate college in general, especially when I decided to go to grad school. A lot of my family members still think I'm in school. They don't realize that I graduated and now I have the privilege of working here. Sometimes I just go with it. I'm like, oh, I got so much homework. I can't go to that dinner. Sometimes they catch me. But anyways, so I understand a little bit what y'all are going through. It's awesome. This program is here. This wasn't here when I did my undergrad. If it was, I'm sure things would be a lot smoother for me, but I made it, right? That's all that matters. So today we're going to be focusing on wellness, specifically for Cal State Fullerton students. And I'll be touching on a lot of different things. If y'all have any questions throughout the time, please feel free to ask. Raise your hand. We'll go from there. Is there anything in particular that you're interested in or want me to expand on? Please let me know. Again, it's a little long presentation, so the more interactive you are, the better for all of us. Sound good? Okay, let's get started. This way. Is it online? It's a great question.
On the side there should be a slider.
Yeah.
There you go.
I need you to follow me around everywhere. So the first slide, before we get into all the stuff that stresses you all out, I want to congratulate you. You made it to grad school. That's not an easy thing to do. It's very difficult. So before we kind of dive into all the different stresses that we have, that you will have, that you already have, a few volunteers, why are you here? Why did you decide to come to college, Cal State Fullerton, and what are your majors? I have prizes to bribe you as well. You get a notebook. You raise your hand.
My name is Maria. I'm actually coming here for the MS in Counseling program.
Nice.
And actually with the emphasis on the new Latinx.
Oh, cool. Yeah, how exciting. So many new emphasis. Well, so like a notebook? Yes.
My name is Amy, and actually I'm returning back to the same university, Cal State Fullerton, to do my MPH.
Me too.
Yeah. And I'm here because a lot of people believed in me when doing my undergrad. They pushed me to continue on with my career goals. So I have a lot of people that have helped me to do.
That's awesome. Anybody else? I also have highlighters. I guess I'll hand pick. Yes. I can't wear it today.
My name is Jessie. I'm here for the Master's in Social Work program at Cal State Fullerton. I think what I wanted to do to help the community and help individuals and family, like master's degree was kind of required. Because I was a returning student, it was really hard for me to I really wanted to go this far, but I'm glad.
So thank you for sharing. One more person. I'll let you choose between highlighter and notebook. You guys.
My name is Lori, and I'm also doing the Master's in Counseling Fluency. And basically, my opinion is just like kind of break away that stigma.
The right campus, that's for sure. Would you like a notebook or a highlighter? It's like a turkey hand. So kind of a theme that I'm hearing is that we all kind of want to help someone in some capacity, right? Community, maybe remove stigmas if we can, things of that nature. Is that kind of okay statement, blanket statement for all of us? So again, congratulations for coming to Cal State Fullerton grad programs. They're awesome, they're amazing. It will be a very difficult time in your life, but it will be worth it. And now I'm going to remind you of all the things that are going to stress you out. So basically, yeah, you're going to be very relaxed at the end of this. Hopefully. But so academia, that's a whole thing, right? Not only are we trying to be adults, we're trying to adult, we're trying to take care of ourselves, our families, also have a social life, also have a lot of different aspects in our lives. We're also trying to do school, grad school. It is not as easy as I thought, let me tell you. I was like, oh, I'll work 60 hours a week and go to school full time and still be involved. Piece of cake, right? No, I quickly regretted it. About a year in, I realized that, hey, I don't know what sleep is anymore. So I should probably figure that out a little bit. And luckily for me, I had the privilege and resources to kind of move my life around. Was lucky enough to get a job here on campus as a grad assistant. Shameless plug, we're hiring. So if anyone, 2 positions, if anyone's interested, let me know. I'll give you my card after. And while I was working there, kind of a lot of different things changed, and I was lucky enough to become a professional staff member after I graduated. It's great working here. School was for sure worth it for me. I struggled a little bit. I had to kind of balance a lot of different things, but I was able to overcome those things, and now I'm here. So, of course, there's finals, there's midterms, there's essays. I think all of our majors, the majority of things we're going to be doing is writing. So if you like to write 24/7, you picked the right campus. There's also a lot of different things, group projects, of course, that we have to do, right? So that kind of leads into interpersonal things. Unfortunately, not everyone is as amazing, as is on top of it as you all probably are. So kind of adjusting to that, figuring that out. Kind of adds a little bit of stress, right? I'm the crazy one that wants everything done within the first week it's assigned, but I know not a lot of people are like that, and are very okay with waiting until the day before. Anxiety levels way high when that happens. So trying to, again, navigate that, how that goes. And then, you know, amongst all the school stuff, there's developmental transitions as well. Some of us might be moving out, some of us might be getting other jobs, some of us might need additional jobs to pay for this, right? Trying to find a job in general that's flexible with your school schedule is also very difficult as well. So there's a lot of different aspects going on right now for all of you. And I'm pretty sure I don't even include everything. So a lot of stress, right? Just keep thinking about all the things that stress you out. So I'm here for it, to stress people out. But luckily for you, Cal State Fullerton is an amazing campus that actually has a lot of on-campus resources really tailored for you all for students. Only Cal State Fullerton students here on campus, right? So kind of go over that a little bit. Primarily student wellness, which is kind of an overarching organization with a lot of different moving parts. So I'll kind of touch on. Primarily I'll focus on health services and Titan Well. I believe some of you all had counseling, psychological services, awesome cool workshop flyers, things. Those are awesome. Disability support services, we'll kind of touch on that a little bit. We'll also talk a little bit about graduate services, but primarily I'll focus on health services and Titan Well, which is health promotion services. Sound good? Okay. So student wellness. How many of you know where the on-campus clinic is? Do y'all want to point to it? Yeah, it's right there. Good job. A lot of people don't know that, but we're here to hopefully spread the word. So there's a lot of different pillars when it comes to student wellness. Again, the 4 pillars are health services, which is the on-campus clinic, counseling, psychological services, which is also the same area, disability support services. Does anyone know where that is? Exactly, UH. And then Titanol Health Promotion Services, which is also in the same building as Counseling Psychological Services and Health Services as well. So we're all in together. So now I'm going to focus primarily on health services. But before I jump into it, don't read it yet. Can anyone tell me what's one thing that the clinic offers? I'll give you enough for one service. You can read it, sorry. Yes. Yes, TB testing. Interesting you said that. I just got mine yesterday. So we offer TB testing, vaccinations, things of that nature. They're either free to low cost or only for students. So for example, as a staff member, I can't really go in there and ask for these services because it comes out of your tuition. Does anyone know how much tuition you all pay for student wellness fees? 200, I hear. Any other guesses? No? 200 is a little high. Maybe we should 80, yes. 80. So we're relatively low in comparison to other CSUs. We have a lot of great services, again, that are free for students. The reason that we're able to do that is because we have so many students, right? So luckily for us, we're able to have kind of a higher range of resources. Again, 80% of your tuition goes to fund us, so you already paid for these services. You might as well use them, right? Render things you've already paid for. I'm going to throw around the word free a lot, but keep in mind this is after you're 80, okay? So we basically have physical exams, so minor surgeries, vaccinations, medication refills. We have an on-campus pharmacy right in the clinic. For example, ibuprofen is about $2 less than if you go to CVS. Those $2 can buy you a soda or a water or a coffee right for class, right? So again, trying your best to budget. We also have family packs, which I'll go into more detail later, but generally it helps with reproductive health. We'll go into that again in a bit. We also have optometry, acupuncture, and chiropractic services. Can anyone tell me how much chiropractic services are for students? Oh, everyone knows? Okay. Yes, $5. Can anyone tell me how much it is outside of the campus? Not $5. A lot more than $5. So we're able to offer acupuncture and chiropractic services at a discounted rate because we actually work with the school across the street. Is anyone familiar with that school? I always pronounce it differently, and I always say it wrong. Ketchup, you never say ketchup. So it's right across the street. So the students that are, I believe, are 3rd and 4 years on their way out are able to provide these services at a discount. They do book up quickly, so that's something that you're interested in. I encourage you to call the first day classes start and let them know that you'd like to book up an appointment. They're very popular. Students are loving the students that work there, so keep that in mind if you want to do that. So physical therapy, can anyone tell me where physical therapy on campus is located? Yes.
It's okay.
The highlighter.
It's the building next to the student.
Yes, exactly. So we're all together. PT is usually pretty expensive. Primarily we work with student athletes, but we are able to see all students. For the most part, for really basic services, you only have to pay an additional $35 a semester, which might seem a lot more than the $5, but let's say, for example, you get injured, you see one of our providers and they refer you to PT, and you have to see him every week, you still pay the flat $35. So in the long run, it's a lot more affordable than if you go somewhere else, but you do have to go through our providers first so they can refer you. That makes sense? And then we also have X-ray lab right on campus, so we're able to run a lot of our tests. We also partner up with different CSUs for accreditation, so not only are all of our providers, include MDs and nurse practitioners and all that, reviewing all these, they're also getting a second opinion as well. Again, for the most part, this is all covered through your tuition. Occasionally, if you need specialty services, you might have to pay either $10 or $20 here and there, but for the most part, it's a lot cheaper than if you go somewhere else. So another question that comes up a lot, see if you all know this, do you all have to have private insurance to utilize these services? No, I asked that very leading, but no, you don't. We do not bill private insurance. We do recommend that you have it, of course. Covered California is still in effect as of now, so you will get fined at the end of the year if you don't have that. And it's also very helpful to have, for example, if you need more long-term care, A lot of times our providers will refer you out. A lot of times our providers will refer you out and use your private insurance to make sure it's affordable. Does that make sense? Great. So you're able to do a lot of different kinds of appointments on the phone, online, just through your portal, very easy. But we also do accept walk-ins. So for example, if it's between classes and you're not feeling well, feel like you might have a stomach flu, or let's say you tripped on your way to class and your ankle's swollen, you can just stop on by and we'll squeeze you in and we'll try our best to see you. It also depends on the severity of the situation. Let's say you trip down the stairs and so your bones like coming out, for sure we'll see right away. You don't have to wait. We also just had renovations, so our lobby is brand new, it looks very nice. I encourage you all to check it out if you have a chance. Don't go too far back because then it's like a time machine that's very modern, and then all of a sudden you're in like 1965. It's kind of strange, but it works. We offer the services still, so hopefully. Any questions? So that is health services. So now we're going to do the fun part, my favorite part, Titan Wall, which is health promotion services. This is my bread and butter. As mentioned throughout this presentation, I did my undergrad and grad program in public health, so I'm very passionate about this, primarily focusing on health education and disease prevention. And then raise your hand one more time if you're doing your MPH. Highlighter, just kidding. No hairs. You all are awesome. So we do a lot of different services for students. We also have an outreach program, so it's called our Titan Well Hut. So that is the actual literal hut you will see all around campus. So for example, does anyone know where LH is? Perfect. So we're right in front of there. We're right in front of the library. Example, does anyone know where LH is? Perfect. So we're right in front of there. We're right in front of the library. We're on Titan Walk. We're right in front of student wellness. We're everywhere. We are trying our best to reach as many students as possible. So not only do we talk about the services that we have on campus and the resources that we have on campus, we also discuss a lot of different health topics. For example, and we'll go through them in more detail as I go further down, but we talk about sexual health, alcohol, marijuana, and other drugs, sleep and self-care, you name it, we talk about it. And again, this is all tailored specifically for you all, for Cal State Fullerton students. We do a lot of surveys throughout, and with all that data and information, this is how we kind of build our programming. So MPH, grad assistants, need more experience in program planning, let me know. Great experience, you learn a lot. But for the hut primarily, I encourage you to visit it whenever you see it. We actually changed our hours this year, so we'll be on campus basically all Wednesday, morning and nighttime as well. So if you all are coming out of your class, you see us, or you're on a break in between class, encourage you to stop by, you get a bunch of free stuff. So we use peer-to-peer health education. So primarily for grad students, if you all want to intern or anything, you will basically be supervising our undergrad students. So it's a very great hands-on experience. We're out there 3 days a week. It just changed, so I apologize for that. But we have new topics every other week. We have fun games and free giveaways. For example, those awesome notebooks that some of you all have, those highlighters, t-shirts, and car chargers as well. And we also have an Instagram. It's at Titan Wall, which I believe you'll see all of the marketing I just handed out to you all. So that kind of shows you where we are every day. So let's say you're bored between your one break in between class. Feel free to look us up, follow us, get a free t-shirt right away. Sense? Right. So here are some of the topics, as I mentioned earlier, that we kind of talk about. So sexual health, nutrition, sleep and relaxation, suicide prevention as well, financial health, stress, relationships, and positive body image. Again, we try to cover as many bases as we can. You know, college is a really stressful time and there's a lot going on. So trying to provide these resources for students in small bite-sized chunks that are helpful and not overwhelming for you all. And you get free stuff. So now we're going to go more into sexual health and the different resources that we have on campus for that. I also have an activity for you all so you don't get too sleepy on me, but we'll do that towards the end. So first we're going to go over stats. So basically, while you all did undergrad, you're now in grad school, what's your perception when it comes to sexual health? For grad students in particular. No perception? Y'all are too busy for sexual health? Whoa, y'all laughed a little too hard at that. Just kidding. So here are some perceptions and misconceptions in general. everyone kind of thinks everyone's doing it, right? Either everyone's having sex or no one's having sex. There's never an in-between, but there's actually a lot of different things that people are doing. So whether or not you're abstaining or whether or not you're participating in that, you're not alone, right? There's a lot of different people doing a lot of different things, and we are not here to tell you abstinence only. We are here to make sure whatever you decide to do, you're doing it safely, right? Does that make sense? So here are basically sexual behaviors and some risks for STIs. Can anyone tell me what STI means? Yes.
Sexually transmitted infection.
Yes, exactly. Formerly known as STD, sexually transmitted diseases. So the reason we're going to infections is because diseases have a negative stigma, negative connotation. When the reality is 1 in 2 people under the age of 25 will have the STIs. It's a lot more common. Some of them are treatable and preventable, of course. So we're going to go over that a little bit. So high risk is unprotected anal, vaginal, or oral sex. Where low risk would be activities that do not involve exchange of bodily fluids or abstinence, but again, as practice, right? Sometimes people kind of necessarily associate behaviors with certain titles. For example, some people might say they're practicing abstinence, however, partake in unprotected oral sex. So still kind of high risk, right? And we're going to go over kind of how things get transmitted a little bit. So skin contact, so herpes, HPV, syphilis, all the way down to different things you can get through vaginal, oral, or anal sex. Can anyone tell me why it's important to know if it's skin-to-skin contact or exchange of bodily fluids? I'm not shy in this topic. It's okay, I understand. We just met. It's cool. So really it's important to know because you want to know how to protect yourself, right? You want to know whether or not you need a barrier method or something a little bit more than that. So again, keeping this in mind, there's this thing called super gonorrhea. It is not a joke. It is new. It is resistant to some treatment. So again, just be aware of what's out there and how to protect yourself. We're going to go into a lot more details. I believe I said this to a group of undergrad students, and they're like, super gonorrhea, is that like a joke? I'm like, no, it really exists. And chlamydia rates and gonorrhea rates actually have gone up for Cal State Fullerton students in general, especially chlamydia and gonorrhea in the throat. So in Orange County in general, I believe it's gone up like 200%. So you can get chlamydia and gonorrhea through oral sex. So please keep that in mind. And again, we're going to go over a lot more resources. I'm not just here to scare you and be like, hi. I'm here to like provide like support. So here are some resources on campus that we have for y'all in particular. We use risk reduction education. So that means stigma-free, judgment-free zone. If for some reason you do not have that experience when you're in the clinic, please let me know and I will take care of that for you. But we are here just to help you out, right? Help you be safe, help you live your life in the best way possible. We have free condoms. Has anyone been inside the health center? Great. So throughout the health center, we actually have dispensaries, condom dispensaries, just there out in the open, no questions asked. If you need anything, just feel free to get it. We also have different sizes and flavors as well. We also have lube too. All free for students. We have the privilege of being in California. We're a little bit more progressive here when it comes to sexual health, so we're able to provide these services for free. And again, very discreet. We understand that unfortunately there is still a stigma attached to sexual health. There's a taboo, but come in, get whatever you need, no questions asked. We also just started an online form. So for example, let's say you're with a student organization and you want to provide free condoms for them. You can do bulk orders through that as well. No questions asked. Does that make sense? We also have free one-on-one sexual health counseling with a health educator. So her name is Carrie Crooks. She's actually on maternity leave now, but she's coming back in a bit. Should be here in the beginning of the fall. She sits down with you one-on-one and talks about a lot of different options, including birth control, ways to prevent STIs, and then if you need help with communication, she's able to kind of talk through that with you as well. These are all confidential. I believe they're about an hour, but she is very flexible if you only have 30 minutes in between class or something like that. We also have free reproductive health exams and contraception. So this is usually through Family Pact. It does depend on income, but the majority of college students do qualify. So basically, you get STI tests here on campus for free. get, of course, free condoms. Let's say you need some birth control besides free condoms, you get those for free as well if you qualify. So it's really great to have on campus. We saw over 8,000 students last year alone. So hopefully people are hearing about us. The person in charge of that, her name is also Gloria. She's the sweetest. Again, we also have pregnancy tests as well. And then under family pack, that will also be free. You qualify. And then we also have pap smears as well and other reproductive visits for women, also being free under family pack. Does that make sense? Any questions? And if you have any questions, I'll leave some of my cards. If you want to ask private, you can email, call me, or anything. So now we're going to do a fun game. If I could go, if y'all want to start on this wall. So basically, these are condom steps. Yes, there is more than one step to using a condom. So go ahead and get started. And then we get to correct them to judge.
Wait, there's a certain way.
Yes, that's for sure.
Do y'all have a double? We do. A little too surprised that Talk was in there. Just kidding.
Wait, I think you unrolled. This is probably like over here. I think you put it all in.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, that's it. And then you went. No. I don't know. So wait, but how would you pitch the tip if it's still in package? Like if you just open the package.
These are important questions.
No, wait,
Once you're all are done. Yeah.
This is the only one I don't know. I don't know if it's like this one's switches. Wait, you're probably supposed to do this. Wait. I was like, I don't know. I really think that this might be rich, but I thought that's
And you all get the notebooks. Go ahead and have let's give them a round of applause. Good Only because y'all tried so hard.
Let's see, did they say?
Okay, let's see. Let's call this one. So they have top, check the expiration date, squeeze the condom package, carefully open the package, pinch the tip, hold on to the base, unroll to the base of the penis, intercourse, ejaculation, and withdraw. See what group 2 has. Talk, expiration date, squeeze the condom package, carefully open the package, pinch the tip, hold on to the base, unroll to the base of the penis, intercourse, ejaculation, withdraw. All right, so let's go over all the steps a little bit. So talk. A few of you were surprised that was in there. What do y'all think we mean when we say talk? What do y'all think we mean when we say talk? Consent, yes. So what is the key word with consent? Yes, but how? How should not enthusiastic, right? So we like to emphasize enthusiastic consent. Someone who's on board, excited. All right, that means yes. Kind of being like, I mean, I guess not necessarily. Doesn't seem like they're into it, right? Doesn't seem like it's something we want to do. So keep that in mind when consent. It goes both ways with everyone involved. Just make sure everyone's on the same page, enthusiastic. Wants to be there. Now we have check the expiration date. Why is that important? Might be expired. So what's wrong with using an expired condom? Break. Yes, not be as effective, right? Not necessarily prevent the things it is meant to prevent. And then the next step is squeeze the condom package. Why do we do that? Exactly. See, there's no holes. Make sure there's little air bubbles still in there. It's almost like you played the game or something. Make sure it's still in there. Make sure it's good to go, right? Makes sense? Okay. So the next one is carefully open the package. Why do we want to open it carefully? Exactly. Yeah, those are a barrier method, right? Of course, not using scissors. That's not recommended. You might cut too far. You might cut it in half. Again, lowering the effectiveness of the condom. And this goes for both. This is mostly for an external condom. That's most commonly known as a male condom. But for female condoms as well, again, just being very careful with it too. Okay. So after that, pinch the tip of the condom. Pinch the tip of the condom. Why do we do that? Yes. So we need a little bit of room, right, for ejaculation. So when you pinch the tip, you make sure there's enough room so it doesn't break. Does that make sense? Okay. And then for the record, we used to have an outreach event where we tried to kind of fit as many things as we can in a condom, and we fit up to 35 oranges in a single condom. Yes. Yes. So keep that in mind. Yeah, normal size oranges. So the whole notion of, I don't know if it will fit, is kind of not necessarily the best thing, right? They're made for that purpose. They're very flexible and for the most part. And again, there's specialty ones as well, for whatever reason those feel comfortable. So no excuses, right? All right, so now we unroll to the base of the penis. Why do we unroll all the way to the base? I'll give you a hint. It has to do with transmission. Not only bodily fluids, but
The skin contact.
yes, skin to skin contact. We want to make sure we cover all our bases, right? And then after that, intercourse, and then ejaculation, and then we have, oh, y'all are almost close. So instead of, first ejaculation and withdrawal, we actually have hold on to the base in between. Why do you all think that is? So it is, I'll go over the steps right now before we go to the last one. So it's talk, check expiration date, squeeze the condom package, carefully open the package, pinch the tip to make sure that it stays with the person with the penis and not inside of a partner anywhere. We want to make sure that everything stays inside too. So for example, let's say you use a condom and then you take it off right over the receiving partner. It might get places you don't want it to, right? So making sure that you hold on to the base of the penis before you withdraw. And then you withdraw. And then we flush it down the toilet. Just kidding. No. Don't do that. Awkward plumbing situation. Trash can always. If you want to be discreet, maybe wrap it up in something, but it's totally up to you. Does that make sense? So this is just a little preview of what the Titan Well Hut does, which is the outreach program I mentioned earlier. Again, they have a lot of fun interactive games and free giveaways. So if you like those notebooks, stop on by. Any questions? Good job for our groups. Let's give them one more round of applause. Alrighty, so now we're going to go into alcohol, marijuana, and other drugs, also known as our AMOD squad. So these students do a lot of awesome programming specifically for alcohol use and marijuana use as well. Can you drink on campus? No, you cannot. There used to be a pub. I believe that's closed and out, from my understanding. I know they're redoing the TSU. But you cannot drink on campus. You also can't be on campus intoxicated visibly, right? When students are drinking on campus or visibly intoxicated, whether that be in housing or on the main campus or across the street, they actually get sanctioned. Anyone know what happens when a student gets sanctioned?
I think you have to go to classes.
Exactly. So you have to go to classes with us, which is a lot easier than other CSUs. For example, a few CSUs, if you do get caught on campus either intoxicated, visibly intoxicated, or with alcohol, you actually pay a fine. You have to go to 3 different classes and pay for those classes. We decided that a fine wasn't necessarily in line with what we wanted to do, right? We just want to teach people how to do things safely. So we just offer classes. So it's pretty awesome. Just kidding. You don't want to be sanctioned. That goes on your record and kind of stays with you for a long time. And again, this is for housing as well. And then marijuana, can you smoke on campus? No, you cannot. What happens if you do? Nothing. Just kidding. For marijuana use in particular, if they're able to prove that you're using marijuana, mostly in housing, what you all know now, you do get sanctioned as well, and it's the same process as alcohol use. And we'll get into more details about smoking on campus and what that looks like. Any questions? So, can anyone tell me what BAC is? Yes. Perfect. Yeah. So why is that important?
They can measure like how much alcohol is in your system.
Exactly.
How intoxicating.
Yeah. Yeah. So why do we need to know how intoxicated we are? As long as we're all having a good time, right? No, it's different for everyone. So we just want to make sure, again, this is harm reduction. If you do decide to drink, we just want to make sure you're doing it as safely as possible. So we're going to go over a couple steps right now. If there's any questions along the way, please let me know. So there's a couple different stages you can go when you're drinking. So there's the green zone, so low risk, buzz, 1 or 2 drinks, most likely, depending on other factors, which we'll go into later. Still feeling good. That can go into the yellow zone, which means that you're drunk. Maybe, you're saying things you wouldn't usually say, kind of more loose. A lot of people claim that alcohol gives you liquid courage, right? This is kind of the stage where you get a little bit more courageous. And then you move on to the red zone. So that's a little bit more dangerous. Basically, you're passing out. You might be in a coma. You might start vomiting, things of that nature. This is where you have physical symptoms of like something's not right. Okay? So, for example, you're dazed and confused. You don't really know where you are. When you're very drunk, a strong state of depression, nausea, disorientation, dizzy, not quite sure what's going on. Can anyone tell me which one sounds like the fun zone, but not dangerous, not life-threatening zone? The green zone, right? Why do you all think about it for so long? Just kidding. So for the most part, the green zone is the safest zone. We understand that sometimes people drink alcohol, mostly in social situations, right? It kind of helps you relax, maybe, things of that nature. But we just want to make sure that you know what is safe and what maybe isn't so safe. Does that make sense? Perfect. We're into more details now. So again, alcohol, how do I word this? So have you all ever been to a party where there's this tiny little petite girl and this giant man who's like 6'4", and she's trying to keep up with him? Does that make you all nervous? That makes me just kidding. MPHs, I know you're all nervous. So obviously everyone's like, oh, keep up. However, the way her body metabolizes alcohol is a lot different than he does. So for example, let's say this female is 130 pounds. If she's drinking 4 drinks within the first hour, she's already at 0.093. Where if he's drinking, this male, 180 pounds, 4 drinks in the first hour, he's only at 0.074. So a lot different, right? Can anyone tell me the difference between these two? What do you notice? Just off the bat. Highlighter. Yes.
The green zone for the female is a lot smaller.
Exactly. So the green zone for the female is a lot smaller, meaning that she can't drink as much as this male who's 180 pounds. So the way alcohol goes through your system depends on your biological sex as well as your weight. Also has a lot of different factors, but we'll go to it. So again, almost half her card is a medical emergency zone, where a smaller portion is green, right? And then he has to drink kind of a lot before he gets into the same kind of danger area. Does that make sense? So, before we go into marijuana, pour me a drink. So we're going to pretend that we're at this awesome party, and for some reason I'm there. And you y'all are gonna pour me a drink. So let's say I'm a little nervous. I know a lot of people, right? Sorry for those behind me. So I go to Josie. Josie, hey, just got here. Don't really know anyone. I really like some whiskey. Do you mind pouring that for me?
Yeah.
It's Josie's party.
Judge's work.
Yeah, just pour however you would, like if you're at a party. All right, thank you, Josie. So I down this in like 2 seconds, and then I run into Nayeli. Yeah. Nayeli. Hey, Nayeli, how's it going? I just got here, just had one drink. I don't really know anyone. I'm a little bit nervous. Do you mind pouring me some beer? For some reason, I can't pour on this. Nayeli is not messing around. Thank you. Perfect. So I am drinking this beer after I had some whiskey that Josie poured me. Drank all the beer Nayeli poured me. Still within the first hour. And now, Marina, how's it going? See that? So this is great. If I drink this within the hour, my body, no matter how tall you are, how much you weigh, takes a full hour to metabolize the drink. So if I only drank this, I'd be fine. I'd be good. I wouldn't be slurring. I wouldn't be saying anything embarrassing, hopefully. And so I'd be great. So awesome. Josie, do you like a highlighter or notebook? Black or green? 2 colors. Green. Perfect. Thank you so much for green. Round of applause for Josie. Perfect. Okay. So that drink was good. Almost an hour. It's kind of a lot, right? Again, no matter how much you weigh or your biological sex, it still takes your body a full hour to metabolize a drink. So by this point, 4 drinks, given my weight and my height and my sex, I'm probably pretty intoxicated. So that can mean I'm starting to words, can't walk straight, can be trying to pick fights with Nayeli for pouring so perfectly, things like that. So there are visible signs again. And would you like a notebook or a pen? Wow. Thank you. Round of applause for everyone. And now you have to drink it. It does, but that doesn't necessarily bring down your BAC. You just don't feel the effects as much. So it is recommended to eat before and during, just because you're not going to feel it as strongly. If that makes sense. I can say that. Yeah, it's okay. Perfect. Mark. But really, just making sure you keep that in mind. Alternating drinks, right, between alcoholic and non-alcoholic. And unfortunately for us, alcohol is often used in regards to sexual assault. So really just keeping this in mind. In the college setting, at least 1 in 5 women will be assaulted in their time here. So again, something to be aware of and kind of try your best to reduce the risk, okay? What are other tips that we can give each other if we decide to go drink one night? Yes?
Have a way of like getting home. So like you have your friend or a Uber, you gotta plan it ahead.
Perfect, exactly. So really knowing how to get home. Uber, I've heard some interesting stories. So maybe just making sure that you have a friend, or for a friend who's not drinking, a friend who likes to stay home on Friday nights. You would text me, hey, I'm going to this party, I'm going to be drinking, I'm taking an Uber after, just letting you know. And this friend will probably be like, great, have fun, let me know when you get home, right? So people know where you are. Another thing that's recommended is if you're going to a party or a place you're not quite familiar with, to go with a group of friends and stay with that group the whole entire night. I know some experiences, right, where you're with a group of friends and all of a sudden everyone's missing, or it's that one friend who's like, where did they go? And then they show up the next day at their house like nothing happened, right? So again, just trying your best to kind of help each other out, make sure everyone's okay. Having a DD is always very helpful. A lot of times, I'm usually DD. A lot of times we like to make sure that you eat well, that you're alternating drinks, and that you're not alone with people that seem a little sketch, right? Does that make sense? Any questions? So we're going to move on to nutrition and all the different nutrition things that we have for our students. So with nutrition, we actually, so for example, he does different workshops for students. So these are drop-in workshops. The schedule's not up for the fall yet, but be sure to let Erin or Anna know once it is. Basically, we'll have weekly workshops, free food, free lunch, and I believe right now it's going to be catered by the gastronome, but in previous semesters we've done flame broiler, witch, a lot of different foods, again, all free for people that come by. So at the end of this, and then in your brochures as well, there's a link to our Instagram and our website, and you can find a lot more information there. So I encourage you all to look that up. Even if it's just for a free meal, you get to learn a few things too as well. And then, hey, sometimes you don't have time, right, to buy something. Got your wallet at home. I encourage you to look this up. And then you can also have one-on-one with a registered dietitian. So for example, if you're an athlete and you want a specific diet, if you're interested in eating healthier, having a healthier lifestyle, he is your man. He's the one to go to. He'll walk you through a specifically tailored plan for you. Any questions?
For the diet, do they kind of like tailor it to like your body and stuff like that? If you like testing?
Yeah, so he does a little bit of health education as well as the clinical side. A lot of times we work with our providers. Those are medical providers. Those are not volunteers. They're certified, licensed professionals. So they kind of help you out with that. And then the registered dietitian will speak one-on-one and go through any concerns that you have as well. And so a little bit more detail on nutrition here on a campus. So again, as I mentioned, I did my undergrad here as well as my grad program. Ask me how many times I have eaten at Carl's Jr. More than I can count. Do I regret it each time? Yes. Do I keep going? Absolutely. So why do you think we all kind of resort to things that might not be the healthiest? I don't understand. But really, again, trying to keep eating healthy in mind, maybe prepping before, but we're going to go over a few details in a little bit. Yeah, we can help with that. So the first thing for that is recognizing barriers to healthy eating, right? So convenience was mentioned. Sometimes you don't have time to meal prep, right? Or let's say I have an avocado and I don't eat it until my 7 p.m. class. It's probably going to be all brown and not necessarily the freshest, right? Things like that, really keeping that in mind and trying your best to hopefully prepare yourself for the day. So what goes into preparation? So calculating your budget. I am an adult woman and I still don't know how to do this. So making sure you're trying your best to do it while you're still in school. So hopefully get into the routine and carry it out the whole time. There's also really the ins and outs of grocery shopping. Again, I don't know how to grocery shop. I didn't know there was like a science to it. So for example, certain companies, probably the most expensive and the most popular brands, doesn't necessarily mean they're completely different from the store brands or the ones that are on the bottom shelf. Anyways, interesting. There's also creative meal making, and a lot of people kind of don't necessarily like meal prepping. They're tired of doing the same thing after the third day, right? So really trying your best to kind of be creative with your leftovers, trying new recipes, looking things up, trying to make sure that it's all new for you, right? And again, fast dining. It's so easy to go to Carl's Jr. and get 10 burgers for $5, right? It's so much easier than meal prepping and trying to be creative. But again, the pros and cons, your health in the long run, how will that help? Again, eating there once or twice is not going to change your health drastically, but if this is something you're doing on a regular basis, maybe something you're concerned about, you can meet with Jimmy or with your dietitian and kind of discuss what you're doing. So advantages, time, money, knowledge, health, right? So those are pretty important for us for the most part for eating healthy. I'm going to go into money a little bit more. So the average daily cost of a healthy diet is only $7.48. I know a lot of times we tend to think that healthy meals are really expensive. When it comes to kind of fast dining, it could be a little bit pricier. So can anyone tell me how much a salad is at, let's say, McDonald's? Yeah, $6. A Happy Meal is $3, and it's a burger and fries. Which one do you think I'll be able to afford, right? Especially as a college student. I had to pay for my own schooling the majority of the time, so it was a very tight budget. So I wasn't necessarily able to afford a salad even at McDonald's or an $8 sandwich here at the community market, things like that, right? And then the average daily cost of fast food diet actually ends up being about $15.30. So the reason why we don't necessarily realize that is because it's so quick, right? We just go, we have it, tastes great, awesome. But if we're doing that for every meal throughout the day, it might even be more than $15. Again, a little bit pricey here on campus. They do have a lot of options, but they also can charge for that as well. So on an average, $47 per week with 3 homemade meals per day. Wow, that's amazing. If I could stick to that, I'd have so much money. Just kidding. And as opposed to $87 a week for 3 fast food meals per day, that's a lot. That's almost double. Again, we need to factor in the convenience, right? And why are we really eating fast food? Is it because we like how it tastes? Is it because we don't like how we cook? Is it things like that? So really exploring that throughout. That makes sense. I'm also going to give you a few food hacks. We're going right now. So has anyone heard of Second Harvest Food Bank? So it's in Orange County. It's county-wide, but there's a lot of different food banks throughout the county. So that's something that you're interested in. We have a brand new thing called Tuffy's Basic Needs. Can anyone tell me where that is? McCarthy, yes. So a lot of different resources for students in particular. It's brand new, so I encourage you all to really utilize that service. It's awesome. They really connect you with different things that you need, whether that be housing, emergency services, food insecurity, things like that. But there's also this cool thing. It's called eFoodie. Does anyone know what eFoodie is? Yes. You love it? Why do you like eFoodie?
Always like voice and perfection. I think we really
Exactly.
always do.
Yes. So basically, they'll email you deals, coupons, special offerings, things like that within your right area. So I encourage you all, if you like to eat out every now and then, to sign up, put in Cal State Fullerton zip code, and it'll give you stuff in the local area. So I think, for example, sometimes you get a free Kazuki at BJ's and things like that. So you can still eat out if that's what you like to do, but save a little bit of money, right? There's also Titan Bites. Does anyone know what that is? Titan Bites?
Any organizations on campus that have student event have that food and you just sign up for it and get notifications.
Exactly. So it's an app. Basically, on-campus organizations or departments, we're all kind of a part of this. So let's say I have a huge training and only half of the people ate their sandwich and I have about 30 sandwiches left, right? I'm able to kind of go into this app as a staff member, kind of send an alert out to everyone who is signed up for Titan Bites app and say, hey, there's free sandwiches at Student Wellness Room 100. So as a student, when you get that notification, you can just walk in, get your sandwich, and walk out. This is great because it prevents food waste. I have been on campus for a long time, and I know there's a lot of places that are, or a lot of meetings and trainings that are catered, and there's just a lot of food left over. So this is an awesome way to connect students who need free meals. There's a lot more details online. They're kind of advertising a little bit more, but if you all need help trying to sign up for Titan Bites, let me know. I can help you with that as well. But fun fact, we also have that option with our basically nutrition workshops. So we have a workshop. We still have like 10, 15 meals. We'll be on this as well. So if you're unable to attend, but you're signed up for Titan Bites, you can still get the free meal. Paid for through donations and other things. If you qualify with your income and your situation, you're able just to kind of swipe in like a normal housing student. So it's great. Kind of removes the taboo because you look like just another student from housing. If this is something that you're interested in, you do have to go through the Dean of Students. But here is the phone number. The extension is 3211. Again, you might have to qualify in regards to income, but basically you get free meals from the gastronome for a full semester. So again, there's resources out there for students that need them. That's why we're here. Hopefully you all can spread the word. It's something that you need to use. Feel free to use that as well. Are there any questions? Questions? I'll leave it up a little bit if you want to take a picture there or anything. And go away. Helpful to use. Again, free food for a college student. Everyone knows college students as the starving college student, right? The ramen diet. So hopefully this kind of helps prevent that a little bit. So now we're going to go into sleep and self-care. So this is kind of bread and butter. This is my topic. I love talking about sleep and self-care. I wasn't doing something right. So it's very interesting to kind of be on the flip side, realizing that this is a necessity and is actually needed to prevent a lot of issues. We'll go into that. All right, so now we're just going to some stats. So here at Cal State Fullerton, about 39% of students feel tired, dragged out at least 6 days out of the week. It's a lot, right? It's basically the whole week that everyone's dragged out or tired or sleepy. 39.2% of Cal State Fullerton students would rate their overall level of stress as more than average stress. So this is very interesting in the fact that our college demographics are changing. We are more likely to be first-generation college students, more likely to be working adults, more likely to have other family obligations as well. So back to that, about 40% of us rate our stress more than average. Totally makes sense. Not only are we doing academia and all the stress mentioned in the beginning, we also have to deal with work, and finances, and the struggles of being a first-generation college student and trying to navigate college in general. So it makes sense that we have higher stress, right? And in the last 30 days, 17% of students felt overwhelmed by all they had to do. For example, midterms, finals, grad school papers left and right, something y'all are gonna have to do. Being stressful all the time. Just kidding. Being stressed often seems pretty common. And 11% of students felt overwhelming anxiety. So this is a little bit concerning, right? Overwhelming anxiety to the point where you can't really function. Luckily for us, we do have some resources on campus that can hopefully help you with that. And then 10% felt very sad. So again, to the point where it affected their academic performance. Hopefully connecting students to resources helps with that as well. Oh, and this is our dog therapy program. You'll have a therapy program. You'll have a very brightly colored flyer, one of the many with dog therapy dates. Very exciting. We use certified therapy dogs, so they are not Cal State Fullerton property. They're actually from this awesome organization called Pet Partners. They have a very rigorous to certify their therapy dogs. These dogs go, I think, about almost 2 years of training for the come on campus to see you all. They're super cute, they're super friendly, and fun fact, this fall, one of our dates falls on Halloween, and I can't promise this, but I'm pretty sure a dog will be wearing a costume. Just saying. So I encourage you all to stop by. If you happen to lose that, if you follow us on Instagram, we'll post where we will be, which is in front of Student Wellness, which is the building right behind here. They're super awesome. I'm hoping to get a facility dog in the long run, so that means the dog will be here always. But for now, we're doing the visits. So stop on by, I'll be there. I just designed cute buttons, so just for the buttons. Alrighty. Oh no, my game. Sometime today. Get a green notebook. You won't get it wrong. Who hasn't gotten a notebook? Yes. What do you think it is? It is actually negative. Why do y'all think it's negative?
Yours.
It's a very expensive habit to have. Also, there's Starbucks, a little about Java, coffee bean, a lot of different things to kind of help my addiction. So again, discourage you from drinking too much coffee. So the next one is a 20 to 30 minute nap in the afternoon. Anyone want to? Yes. Yes. Notebook? Do you have a notebook? So positive effect. Why is a 20 to 30 minute nap in the afternoon a positive effect? Yes. Exactly. So it re-energizes you. It's the same effect as drinking a cup of coffee. So it doesn't necessarily take away from the sleep that you're going to need in the evening, but it will give you kind of like a little boost of energy. Does that make sense? And that's not including the time it takes for you to fall asleep. All right, so then now we have drinking alcohol in the evening. So this is negative. I've heard kind of a lot of debate on this. A lot of people kind of question that. Like, are you sure it's negative? Tired. We don't wake up and then restorative sleep, which we'll go into more detail in a little bit, kind of has a big important part to play in your health overall. And then the next one, sleeping in a dark, quiet room. Why do we think this is a positive effect? Later. I feel like everyone has a highlighter. Yes.
It's your body doesn't start. It's better than we allow right.
Yeah, so when it comes to our brains, there's still parts that are a little bit more primitive. For example, if there's a light, our brain's gonna think the sun is up. So when it's dark and when it's quiet, we're able to relax, right? Back in the olden days, the primitive days, we were kind of forced to work together and be in a group. So for example, there's different stages of sleep. So if you're in the deepest sleep and then you wake up right away because there's a bear going to eat your group, you're automatically going to trust basically whoever you're with, right, in that group. So if you hear a noise or anything while you're falling asleep, our brain is still kind of in that mode of like, oh, we have to wake up, we have to be careful, there's a bear that's gonna come eat us. So let's say you're in a darkened room, but your roommate is listening to music and you can still hear it, you're still gonna kind of be awake and not necessarily reach the deepest stages of sleep. Does that make sense? And then using electronics before bed, so it kind of has the same effect as having light. So you're on your phone looking at Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, not using it right before bed, maybe setting a limit, 20 minutes before I want to go to sleep and stop using my phone. Things like that, right? Does that make sense? And then regular exercise. So this kind of goes back and forth with positive and negative effect, depending on how you react to exercise. So how many of us can react to exercise? So how many of us get really sleepy after we work out? Be honest, a couple of us, right? How many of us get really energized after we wake up or work out? Okay, so there's a lot of different people. I actually get really tired as well. So it makes sense for me to do it right before bed because then I get to sleep, right? If you're the type where it energizes you, then maybe not doing it right before bed. Maybe doing it in the morning will be more helpful. Can anyone tell me where on campus you can work out for free as a student? The best idea. Yes.
So you're pretty much training your body that like when you lay down on the bed, you're not going to sleep, you're doing something else.
Exactly. So if we do not reserve our bed for just sleep and sex, we are going to eventually associate our bed with work. So for example, when I was in grad school, I tried to study in my bed. I would always fall asleep and never actually study. So again, it kind of works both ways, right? Either you won't be relaxed in bed or you'll be relaxed when you're trying to do something else and it won't necessarily have the best effect on what you're trying to do. Also too, alcohol use, again, drinking it at least 2 hours before bed, just to make sure you're able to restore those stages of sleep. When it comes to basically milk or eating or anything, what have you all heard? Is different sleep cycles. Yeah, you know, that's it. So really, there's a lot of different cycles. There's non-REM sleep. Can anyone tell me what REM stands for? Rapid eye movement, yes. So rapid eye movement, that's a deeper stage of sleep. And then slow wave sleep, and then of course being awake. So this whole cycle is roughly 90 minutes for an average person. So let's say you're able to take a nap only for 20 minutes, you wake up energized. You're able to sleep for about 90 minutes, you still wake up energized. Let's say you wake up 15 minutes in, how do you think you're going to be feeling? Groggy. Why do you think that is? Exactly. So one way I like to look at sleep is kind of like deep sea diving. So the further down you are, the harder it is to shoot back up, right? So the first 20, 30 minutes, you're still kind of on the surface, very easy for you to come up. You're kind of on the surface, very easy for you to come up, you're fine. And again, let's say you're diving for only 90 minutes. By the end of the thing, it's totally fine. You can wake up. But if you're trying to kind of shoot up in between, you're pretty far down, you're not going to have the best reaction. You'll be really tired and groggy. Does that make sense? So with that being said, is it bad if you try to take a nap and you sleep for 4 hours? So it's not necessarily the best idea. However, that could be a sign of sleep debt. It could just mean you're really tired and you need that sleep. So you might wake up feeling groggy and not your best, but also you're getting the sleep you need. So it's kind of really seeing, weighing the pros and cons and seeing if it's worth it, if that makes sense. All right, so there's a few common sleep disorders. So inadequate sleep hygiene. Some of my favorites. Basically, you're not able to sleep consistently for about 3 months. One thing about sleep in general is that it is self-imposed. So let's say I like to go out every night and then I go to school on Mondays and Wednesdays and then I go to work until 1 a.m. at the hospital. And then after that, I also like to play video games for about 3 hours. That's all great, right? It's all stuff I like to do. However, it is compromising my sleep. So again, making sure that you're able to kind of work around that schedule as much as you can. There's a lot of different things that are out there. There's sleep apps. There's super cool Fitbit things that calculate your sleep as well. So you're utilizing those to make sure you're getting what you need. Does anyone know how many hours of sleep the average person needs? So 7 to 9, depending. Again, it's the average person. For people, it's different.
I have a comment
But like, that's not 8 hours, it's actually 7 because I've been awake for like an hour and it's up and down.
Exactly. Yeah, and they're good to use too because you realize like, hey, I'm not as much as I thought, or I'm moving a lot, or I'm storing. One of our past students was very passionate about sleep. She actually suffered from sleep paralysis, so she was able. I know it's right. She was able to utilize the sleep app to kind of see what days where it was most intense, what days maybe she changed things. But this one was really intense. That it would record her, so she would hear herself as she was talking.
Stage that you kind of wake up to, like during that rapid eye movement, your body is actually your brain is telling your body to be paralyzed so you don't like hurt yourself. But when you are awake, you're kind of like in between reality and your dreams. That's like very scary.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's frightening the things that people see. So it's a little scary. But again, this is all kind of really new in regards to research. So people are kind of really trying to explore like why does that happen? I mean, a lot of people that suffer from sleep paralysis experience the same things. So again, it's a little bit interesting. Not a lot of research on it, unfortunately, but hopefully in the next couple of years we'll have more information. The same with dreams. A lot of people are really into dreams and their meetings, but again, there's not a lot of research to really confirm one thing or another, if that makes sense. Yeah, but scary, seriously. All right, so here are some common consequences of sleep deprivation. So when you are deprived of sleep, memory and recall goes down. Although I'm the health educator that focuses on sleep, I do have some sleep issues as well. So for example, we have to remember things, right? We have to remember what we're presenting on, what we're writing about, what we're learning about. So that kind of has a huge negative effect on that. There's also an increase in mood problems. I get a little bit grumpy if I don't get much sleep, I'll admit. Body complaints, you get that strange shoulder pain for some reason, not quite sure. And interpersonal impairments, if you're a little bit more moody, maybe a little bit short-fused, right? Might argue with coworkers or disagree with them a little bit too much, or group project members and classmates. Does that make sense? So how many of us have pulled an all-nighter? Be honest. There you go. How did we feel the next day? Who would like to share? If you know. Not learning anymore? So basically, all-nighters, I pulled very few in my life, but I did not feel good the next day. Couldn't focus, not to drink and drive, right? And the reason that is because we understand the dangers of it, but something that we also have to keep in mind is drowsy driving. So how many of us are commuters? How many of us drive more than 30 minutes? Wow, that's a lot. 40 minutes? More than 40 minutes? More? More than, how long do you drive? Oh, okay. So like 3 days, right? Like you might as well stay here for next week. So there's a lot of commuting, a lot of driving. So let's say I don't pull an all-nighter, but I'm very busy this week and I only sleep 4 hours for 5 days. So that's equivalent of pulling an all-nighter. That means I didn't sleep for a total of 24 hours, right? That's how much sleep debt that I have. So let's say I'm driving from LA all the way here for a plus hour, driving drowsy. That's basically the same cognitive impairment as driving intoxicated. So I'm basically driving drunk at that point. Very dangerous. Unfortunately, it leads to a lot of accidents throughout the year in general, not only for college students, but people in general. And that's not including the time needed to find parking, to walk to class. We all are doing a lot. So again, we're just encouraging you to get as much sleep as you can. How many of us do kind of the loud music and the air and the singing and all that? Does that help? Not really. Yeah, it actually doesn't. The only cure for not being sleepy is to actually sleep. So if you're able to, who would have thought, right? If you're able to pull over and take a quick 20, 30 minutes.
They may not be the right way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we do. We do cigarette butt cleanups every semester. Fresher Advocates, they're an awesome student organization on campus. I believe last year alone, in the spring, they picked up over 30,000 cigarette butts throughout campus. That's for a smoke-free campus. So, but unfortunately, if you're caught smoking a cigarette on campus, public health people change this, nothing happens. So there are no serious consequences when it comes to that, which we understand, right? We want to meet people where they're at. But On the flip side of that, so the Fresh Air Advocates actually offer great incentives for people that do actually smoke in the designated smoking areas, which is all on the outskirts of Cal State Fullerton. So for example, let's say you're a smoker and you go to the designated area right on State College, you have a good chance of getting a free Starbucks gift card just by following the rules. So although there are not necessarily consequences, there are rewards for following that rule. And again, we're trying to make this a healthy environment for everyone, right? So hopefully that'll kind of help smokers. If you know any smokers, if you see people smoking on campus, feel free to say like, hey, do you mind putting that out? This is actually smoking campus. Doesn't mean fight people, but just letting them know, reminding them. Make sense? So we're going to talk a little bit more about on-campus resources. I believe we only have about 10 minutes, so this should be good. So for instance, in particular, can you all believe me for like 5 seconds? No, there's actually a lot of resources specifically for graduates. Basically, you'll have computers, there's a little fridge, just a place for you to go to work. For MSW, I believe they also have a lounge. I don't know all the details about that, but I encourage you to ask basically your advisor or one of your professors and say, hey, I heard we're on the street as MPH has a lounge, where's our lounge? Hopefully they'll be able to help you out with that as well. Also, too, that just happened over the summer is the south side of Public Library actually opened up, and it's a beautiful space. It looks awesome. There's a lot of workspace for students there. I encourage you all to take advantage of that. The south side has been closed since my undergrad, so it's been a long time. So we're all excited to see those spaces. And they also have a graduate studies office, specifically for grad students. There's also a graduate learning specialist as well. And then the Success Center, which is PLS 365, again, it's the south side. And now they have a lot more space for students in particular as well. So DIRC, can anyone tell me what DIRC is? So DIRC is basically the Diversity Initiative Resource Centers that we have on campus specifically for people that identify as different minorities. And they are finally moved into their beautiful space. There's huge work area for students, and then there's different work areas depending on exactly which part of DIRC you feel most related to. So I encourage you all to check that out as well. It's open to everyone. It's a free workspace, very inviting. The staff is so sweet and so kind. They can always connect you with other services as well. Any other questions? If you need help connecting to anything, let me know. I'm on campus basically all the time. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I'm going to leave some cards here for you all. One thing that I wish I did a lot more of, especially as an undergrad student and a grad student, is really just utilize the services here. They're made specifically for you all. No one else can come in here and use those, so it's just for you. If you all don't use them, no one will for sure take advantage of that. I understand you all are busy, but hopefully this will help the transition. And again, if you need help or have any questions with anything, you can always email me, call me. I'm willing to help. I'm just the next moving over. So basically, can anyone read this quote for me? You'll get a notebook and a highlighter. Whoever wants to read it, both of you at the same time.
How about I do happy? I'll give you whatever you do. I have come to believe that caring for myself is not self-indulgence.
It's an act of service.
Exactly. Does anyone know who Does anyone know who Audre Lorde is? Yes, yeah, perfect. I encourage you all to look her up. She is amazing. So again, as mentioned earlier, in my experience as a first-generation college student, both in undergrad and grad, self-care is not necessarily seen as a necessity, right? Something we'll do later. Something we'll do when I have time. Something I will do when I feel like I earned it, when I feel like I finished my homework, when I feel like I aced that test, when I feel like I aced that class. It's always something kind of on the back burner. But self-care in general, if you work it into a routine, it's actually really preventative. It can help with a lot of different things, not only stress, but can help with your mood impairments. Let's say you're maybe a little bit grumpy because you're really stressed out. It can help you with that as well. It can hopefully strengthen your bonds. A lot of times if we do self-care, occasionally we'll do that with other people. So for sure, uniting us, right? And really just putting things in perspective a little bit more. One of the flyers, the longer one that's brightly colored, kind of has a few tips for you all, little encouragements really just specifically for Cal State Fullerton students and things you can do around campus. Again, self-care, the keyword self-care is self. It's different for everyone. So just because I like to journal doesn't mean journaling is the best for you. It's really just figuring out what the best thing is. And I encourage you all to try to kind of work that into your schedule on a regular basis, because once things get going and you hit the ground running, it's going to be really hard to kind of incorporate that. Does that make sense? And then I also gave you a student wellness brochure. So that kind of has all of our contact health services. Call them, ask any questions that you like. Again, you can call me. I can help you out through that process as well. There's also that kind of teal one, basically some tips to do right before an exam if you're a little bit stressed out or have a little bit of anxiety. Hopefully those help. And I know as a grad student, I drink a bunch of caffeine, so I also gave you a little caffeine guide. It's not necessarily the worst thing to do, but there are better ways and healthier ways to kind of use that. And then again, dog therapy. Hopefully I'll see you all there. So if you all have any questions or concerns or anything, I am nearby. Aaron and John have my contact information. And if you all have any other questions. Any questions? No? Okay. Well, here are my references.